Hey everyone, my name is Omar. I'm a production artist, which is just a fancy way of saying I do photo and video for a living. And today we're going to go over some really bad job postings. Now, one of the most intimidating things there are when you're starting out new is actually pricing your work because you don't really know what you're supposed to be charging. Problem is, when people actually go for genuine advice on the internet, a lot of people respond with, well, what is your time worth? And that's not really very helpful when you're new to the game. I live in the DMV region, and a lot of people who are new to commercializing their skill set show me what the prices are that people are offering them, and there is a problem here. So what we're going to do for this video is take a look at what local postings there are, what prices people are offering, whether it's a one-time gig on Craigslist or a job that's being offered on LinkedIn. And I'll start showing you what qualifies a job as a good job or a bad job, whether it's internal or external creative. For reference, I've worked both internal and external creative, both domestically and internationally. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to establish a baseline, and as a really good rule of thumb, especially when you're starting out, this really should be your baseline. If the compensation of that gig cannot cover equipment rental, meaning if the compensation wouldn't allow the person to rent the equipment, never mind having a camera operator and everything, it is a gross lowball. Do not take that job.
You want quality, you need to pay for it.
Regarding experience, you really don't need experience if you own this equipment already. Case in point, you gotta shoot a talking head video, shoot a YouTube video. Event coverage, portraits, testimonials, whatever the case is, you can shoot most of that stuff by yourself or with a friend at most. Cheap work will always lead to more cheap work. It is never something that's going to pay off long term.
Fucking cheap and easy, which makes us cheap and easy.
A passion project that appeals to you, that's your business, but when it comes to just doing something for the sake of getting money, don't fall for the cheap work thing like, let's try it out this one time and we'll have more work in the future. Guaranteed nonsense, #1 lie told to people in this industry. To set that baseline, we're going to go to lensrentals.com. I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. And we're going to price out a camera body, a lens, audio setup, because there'll probably be a couple of jobs where we have to collect the audio of someone speaking. That's the most basic a kit can get. And if we have to add on a few things based on some of these job requests, we'll get there. Since we're doing video and you can't risk having your camera overheat with a video client, let's go with the A7S III or maybe the FX3. They're probably the same price. These are going to be a weekend gig, so we're going to pretend that this is on a weekend. Earliest you can return it would be a Monday. I think typically like a 3-day rental is the minimum. Yeah, as you can see here. So a 3-day rental, $130 for the camera body. Let's add that to the cart. For most event type work, you're going to want a 24 to 105 or whatever the equivalent is in the camera system. So let's go with this one. A microphone, let's go with a wireless lav. Shotgun mic, I mean, if a job calls for a shotgun mic, it's probably scratch audio, so you probably won't even need a microphone. I would recommend we go with a Rode wireless system, unless they have the DJI. This one has lavs built in, so we'll go with these. So the total right now is $250 for a 3-day rental. That is without insurance, by the way. Or delivery. We're going to give these people the benefit of the doubt, and we're not even going to have insurance. Which is, by the way, when you're renting something, if you don't include insurance, you are out of your mind. All right, so that drops the price to $218 instead of $250. Horrible deal. Do not ever order something without insurance. With shipping, the total is going to be $253 excluding tax. Let's just call it $250 for an uninsured basic kit. Doesn't include memory cards. We'll just magically assume you have it. Doesn't include any extended battery performance. It comes with 1 battery, but if you need like all-day recording, you'll need a V-mount or you'll need like one of those, some type of power bank maybe. But we're going to put all of that aside and just work off this $250 number. So let's see what we have. First one. Game day camera operator. I already know this is going to be bad. $25 per game. Camera operators are responsible for capturing live camera footage during Breeze game events, on-field action, and for streaming broadcasts as well as promotional content during breaks. Previous experience in audio-visual production is preferred but not required. Camera operators may operate on-field cameras or may assist in the production room. Most are on their feet for approximately 4 hours, including setup and teardown, and the pay rate is $25 per game. I feel like I don't really have to say why this is bad. $25 to work for 4 hours is insane. That's below minimum wage.
Why don't you pay a decent wage, you cheap asshole?
So automatic red flag, throw this out the window, never work for them. Let's see what we've got next. This one was actually posted in a group locally. Looking for a videographer for this Wednesday, very short notice. They're just looking to capture 2 to 3 minute testimonials during the event, so clip-on mics would be needed. That's where the mic kit comes into play. Gig in Kmart, Maryland. It's a luncheon, 12 to 3. Pay is $80 an hour. 3-hour gig comes out to $240. It's $10 below what it costs to just rent the equipment, but on top of that, you have to pay for your own transportation to get to this location.
You just have to pay for your own taxi, food, accommodation, promotion, insurance, communications, and miscellaneous expenses.
I mean, like, if you owned everything and you lived in Kmart, so you wouldn't have to pay for your own transportation, this might be like an easy afternoon gig. But then it's also in the middle of the week, so I guess like maybe a college student or a high school student that was out might be able to do it. But even then, it's a gross lowball because for 3 hours, it really is like a half-day rate. But even so, like, this is in the middle of the day, so it would be like a day rate for anyone. For a young kid to get some grocery money for the month, maybe. But this is a bad job posting, and the worst part about this is that this is actually posted in a group that caters to the professionals in the area, so this person probably got flagged pretty hard. I actually just went to go check the Facebook post and it's gone. So yeah, they know what they did. Let's see what's next. All right, let's see what here. Bucks County Video is looking for a videographer for July 21st in the DC area. This event is an Indian wedding. Indian weddings, very, very big, very beautiful, a lot of fun. For a total of no more than 5 hours. Need a 2-camera setup. So we had $250 was the estimate, so now $500. That's the minimum for this job, for it to be a bad job. One stationary and the other more mobile. One of the hours is the ceremony, which needs to be done with a small setup using event hall Wi-Fi. It would be preferred to do it through YouTube, but open to other options. Wi-Fi for broadcasting purposes, it really is not a good idea because when you have that many people in a venue, you're almost guaranteed to get signal interruption. You always want to do hardwire. If interested, please reply with the links to your work and gear list. Hope to work with you soon. Compensation $400. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is a terrible price for that. So you're working for 5 hours, providing your own transportation, 2-camera setup.
I was just wondering how many cameras you got there.
2-camera setup, you will need a tripod. 5 hours also means you'll be recording for some time, so you do need larger memory cards, and you'll probably have to rent those for maybe 20 or 30 bucks as well. This is not the fault of the couple, by the way. This is the fault of the production company that negotiated a very specific rate, and now they have to find someone at a particular price point to make it more profitable for them. If this were a 1-camera setup and you were new to weddings and you wanted to get experience, I'd say okay, but the fact that it requires a 2-camera setup, I'm automatically going to say no. All right, what do we got next? Photography on your schedule, Germantown area. Anything that's like be your own boss vibes, usually a pretty bad sell. Photographers with real estate architectural experience, not common, and the right equipment to shoot freelance assignments for us on an ongoing basis. We offer education and certification. Certification is completely made up. There's no photography certification. And handle everything so you can keep shooting. Our studio handles all of the image post-processing, sales and delivery. You just do what you do best and compose amazing photographs. So they are looking to really rail you here.
Cheap bastard. Cheap fucker.
Basic requirements. DSLR or mirrorless, at least 18 megapixels. Everything's over 18 these days. Wide angle lens, 17 or 10 on APS-C for the crop factor. External flash, tripod, reliable vehicle. Assignments are freelance, independent contractor, so it's just a flat rate fee. Apply, test, and become part of their VHT Select network. Orders are dispatched. So it's like the Uberification of photography. $35 to $75 or more depending on the job. Red flag, skip it entirely. Videographer needed, Mount Vernon. Down and dirty 30-minute interview. I already know this is going to be bad. Interview for a Colorado Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame inductee. Style points for camera operator. Minimum ratio, 1920 by 1080, 60 frames per second. This minimum ratio, this basically like the video specs, it tells me that the person requesting this doesn't really do video. 1080p and 60 frames a second for a talking head video is just not it. Well-composed outdoor shot with a diffused backdrop, so you have to bring a backdrop, you're out of your mind. I'm not even going to bother looking what it costs to rent a backdrop, if that's even an option, until I see the rest of this, because I already know this is going to be below. Justify subject left or right frame, not center. Please use a key reflector, not too hot, please. This is really specific. Please use lavalier mic and monitor clean sound. Fair, you should be. That just reminds me, actually, you do have to have your own monitoring headphones or at least earphones or something to make sure that your audio is good. Undercovers as well, if you don't want to use clip-on, but that's a whole other topic. For recording, subjects should answer question looking slightly off camera to you, asking the question. They're talking about the framing so specifically, just just give an example screenshot or something. Please coach the subject to reflect the question into their answers. Please text us a picture to whatever this number is. Before you get going, thank you very much. Please call Hayden with any questions. Okay, and compensation for this is $200. Absolutely not. The direction is actually better than having no direction, but also for $200, unless you actually live in Mount Vernon, I would not bother with this whatsoever. That's crazy. A 30-minute interview is going to be at least like a 2-hour job if you're fast, 3-hour if you're new. Yeah, so like for $200 to have a diffused backdrop, which costs money, 30-minute interview, audio collection, camera. If you live in Mount Vernon and like you can take the person to a shaded spot or something, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, skip. All right, so corporate jobs. I was a little iffy on including these in the video because they're very different from standard gigs, but I feel like I do have to mention them to some degree. The thing is with most corporate jobs is you don't end up doing your job. You don't end up doing like, if you are hired for a video position, it's very unlikely you will just be shooting video. Same thing with photo, and that's what we're going to kind of judge these on based on the language and everything I've learned over the last couple of years in these corporate positions. Okay, so videographer, performance innovation for HelloFresh. I wish they mandated salaries for all positions, but they're saying full-time entry level, I don't know how this is entry level, $82,000 to $102,500 per year for full-time entry level. Already know this is going to be mixed up considering what's needed. They're seeking a skilled and creative videographer to join their team, specializes in innovative paid social content, UCG-style video aesthetic. UCG-style video assets is like user-generated content, like how people shoot with their cell phones. You know, celebrities have a ton of money. They can have any camera they want, but they still shoot things with their cell phones. That's kind of what UCG aesthetic is, where you're still delivering the message, but it's more relatable to the average person. You'll work closely with the creatives and editor on the team to bring their vision to life and create compelling visual narratives. Actually, a really good green flag here is that you are working with other creatives. That is not the norm. This role requires a deep understanding of social media platforms, trends, and basic practices, so you are going to be brainstorming, as well as the ability to think outside the box and push creative boundaries. Great for people who are creative with their edits. This candidate should be passionate about food videography and experience in in-house production workflow, so this isn't really entry level. Create paid social. So you're going to be making paid social ads, work with a talented team of creatives, which is cool. I've never had that experience outside of some like contract work. Give direction to on-set talent, more than a videographer, but it's a really good skill to build up. Work collaboratively with food stylists and prop stylists. It's cool. This is actually a pretty cool position. I'm not gonna lie. It's not entry level. That might be just LinkedIn's like categorization of this. For $102,500 and you have to be in New York, you're gonna have roommates or a long commute. I'd say this is definitely worth applying to properly and getting into the interview and see if you can get that 102.5 versus the 82 per year. This actually would be a pretty cool thing for someone who's been shooting things for a while and is looking for a very consistent and steady paycheck. And the consistent and steady paycheck is the advantage corporate jobs hold over like freelancing. This is gonna be a bad one. Fox News Media video editor. So generally speaking, news agencies are the absolute worst to work with. I love ragging on Fox News because I hate conservative media, but liberal media is not much better. And centrist media like Vice is even worse because, as you've probably heard, they usually stiff their contractors. About the job, what you will need: turn raw video into news packages and create broadcast quality pieces very quickly in a live environment with a sharp eye for detail. Create graphics that complement the news story, move fast on nonlinear edit programs, prioritize assignments, and meet deadlines. You'll need bachelor's degree, 2 to 3 years of experience, 2 plus 3 years of experience in non-linear editing with Adobe Premiere Pro. Literally every editing software is NLE. I don't know why this term keeps popping up here. Passion for news, demonstrated news editorial judgment and broadcast experience. So I don't have a pay rate here, and if I had to guess, that's probably gonna be like a $40,000 a year job here. All right, what do we have? Need videographer today at 1 p.m. EST to 9 p.m. EST Midtown. Looking for a videographer to work with us in Midtown Manhattan. Meet us at Penn Station. We wrap up at 9. We are filming Sing With Me Free. This is a run and gun type shoot, so please have a camera that can be easily carried by hand, is steady, gimbal preferred, so you need to rent a gimbal for this, and can adapt automatically, changing light and focus, which I guess you're either going to leave it on auto or you have an ND or step up, or they don't care about shutter speed. Day rate $225. Absolutely not. Hard pass. Don't even inquire. Driver camera operator. Compensation 70 to 25 an hour. Wanted for social media film sets, temporary gig with potential of full-time. We're seeking a reliable and experienced driver/camera operator to join our team for social media film sets. Red flag. This is a temporary position, has the potential to turn into full-time opportunity. As the driver, you'll be responsible for transportation, ensuring a clean vehicle, and maintaining gas levels. Additionally, camera operation experience is necessary. What kind of job is this? As you will capture the day-to-day activities of talent on various projects, including TV shows, radio shows, and online content. It seems like they want a driver, like they're budgeted for a driver for transportation, but they also want that person to take BTS. That's my guess here. Requirements, clean driver's license and car insurance. So you have to be insured, which is crazy. So it's in your car too. Oh, hell no. Experience in camera operation, military veterans preferred because, you know, that's our favorite type of person to just fuck over in this country. Responsibility, yeah, we're skipping this. And with that, that is the end of this video. If you're a newer photographer or videographer, really watch yourself. Don't feel desperate. Don't feel like you really need to lower your expectation on pricing because you're new or anything. As you can see, they can't even rent the equipment for a lot of the compensation ranges they were offering for this, so steer clear of that. Get a website, set your rates, start learning how to market yourselves, because marketing yourself is going to be more important than how you edit, how you shoot, anything like that, because that's how you actually get clients. Now, if you see a passion project or something you're really involved in and maybe they don't have a budget, that could be something that you invest your time and equipment into. But a lot of these job listings, they're not looking for someone who's passionate or anything. They're just looking to pay as little as possible so they can maximize their profits. And you have to remember that that comes at your expense. Don't let that happen. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these, and feel free to start sending me some of these terrible job ads and I'll include them in the next video as well. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and I'll catch you next time.